Hey, everybody, and welcome to the True Alien Podcast. We're diving headfirst into the world of the unknown, those stories that make you go, huh, what was that? You know, aliens, abductions, UFOs, Bigfoot, all that good stuff.
We love the strange and unusual.
Exactly. And our goal here is simple. We're going to grab a true story, a real account, and see what we can learn from it, maybe separate a little fact from fiction, have some fun along the way.
We're going to probe those paranormal mysteries.
I like that. I'm Adrian Smith.
And I'm Julie Jones.
And we're your guides through the weird and wonderful world of the True Alien Podcast.
Your paranormal probes.
All right, I'm liking that. Today on Paranormal Probe, we're heading back to the summer of '98, Camp Pinecone. Our story comes from Ethan, who was 12 years old at the time.
Oh, summer camp stories.
Right. You just know there's going to be some good stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
What starts as a classic summer camp experience, canoes, campfires, s'mores, takes a very unexpected turn for Ethan. We're talking strange encounters, unsettling events, things that left him questioning what was real and what wasn't.
It's amazing how often these stories begin with a familiar, almost idyllic setting. It makes the contrasts all the more stark when things shift into the unexplained.
Absolutely. So picture it. The Adirondacks, summer of '98, Camp Pinecone. You've got Ethan, a city kid, finally getting that taste of the great outdoors.
Those dense forests, the rustic cabins, the quiet, it's a completely different world from the city.
Right. He goes from the constant noise of the city to this almost unsettling silence, surrounded by nothing but trees and the sounds of nature.
And that shift can definitely heighten your senses, make you more aware of your surroundings, even a little jumpy maybe. It's like your brain is on high alert trying to process all these new sights and sounds.
Yeah, it's almost like stepping into another world. And according to Ethan, after a few regular camp days, the fun stuff, he started to feel a change in the atmosphere. It wasn't anything specific, but just this creeping sense of unease, like he was being watched.
That feeling of being observed, it's so primal, isn't it? It taps into our deepest fears, those instincts that tell us we're not alone, even when we can't see anything.
Like the hair on the back of your neck standing up. You just feel it. And it's especially creepy when you're in a new place surrounded by darkness. Those dense woods at night.
Absolutely. And the power of suggestion in a group setting like that can be huge. If one person starts talking about feeling watched, suddenly everyone's looking over their shoulder. It can create this collective anxiety that feeds on itself.
And that's exactly what happened. Whispers start making their way around camp. Those classic campfire stories take on a new, unsettling edge. Campers are sharing their own weird experiences. Things they've seen or heard.
Like those urban legends that take root and grow, feeding off people's fears.
Exactly. Some campers talked about strange lights they saw above the tree line. Others mentioned eerie howls at night, sounds they'd never heard before. Definitely not any animal they knew. Some even woke up feeling disoriented, like they'd been somewhere else.
All these little pieces adding to the unsettling atmosphere.
But at first, Ethan's like, nah, come on, guys. This is just camp stuff, spooky stories.
Yeah.
City kid trying to be tough.
Makes sense. It's easier to dismiss those things as folklore, the product of overactive imaginations, especially in a place where storytelling is part of the experience.
Totally. But then things started happening to Ethan himself. And these aren't just campfire tales anymore. We're talking sleep paralysis.
Okay, now that's something that can really mess with your head.
Right. He'd wake up in the middle of the night, completely aware of where he was, could hear everything going on around him, but he couldn't move.
That's the terrifying part, isn't it? You're trapped inside your own body, your mind racing, but unable to do anything. It's like your brain is awake, but your body's still asleep.
It's like that moment after a nightmare where you're still half in it, but amplified 1,000 times. And he tried to explain it away. Stress, a new environment, maybe sleeping in a weird position.
Which are all logical conclusions. Sleep paralysis is a real phenomenon, and it's often linked to stress, disrupted sleep patterns, anxiety, things that could definitely be triggered in a new, unfamiliar environment.
Makes sense. But then it gets even weirder, right? These episodes become more frequent, and he starts seeing things. It's not just the paralysis anymore. There are shadows moving around the cabin, these flickering figures at the edge of his vision, just these brief glimpses, but enough to give you chills.
And hallucinations during sleep paralysis are really common. It's like your dream state is bleeding over into your waking consciousness. It's your brain trying to make sense of that in-between state.
But here's the thing. Ethan also mentions this feeling of being touched, like a cold metallic touch. That's something you don't often hear about with sleep paralysis, is it?
That's an interesting detail. While visual and auditory hallucinations are very common, tactile sensations are less so. But, the brain is capable of producing incredibly realistic sensory experiences even when there's no external stimuli. So it's possible that it's part of the same phenomenon.
Okay, so your brain is playing tricks on you. But then, one night, it's not just shadows or fleeting figures. He wakes up, or thinks he wakes up, and there's this figure standing at the foot of his bunk. It's tall, slender, with these really long limbs, and a head that seems way too big for its body.
Classic alien imagery.
Right, and the eyes were glowing, just staring at him. He tries to scream, but nothing comes out. He feels this pressure on his chest, like he can't breathe.
Again, that sensation of pressure is often reported during sleep paralysis. It can feel like someone's sitting on your chest, making it hard to breathe. It's all part of that fight or flight response kicking in while your body's still paralyzed.
It's not just the pressure, right?
Yeah.
There's this whole figure, this being, staring at him with glowing eyes, and then just as suddenly as it appeared, it's
Yeah.
gone.
And that sudden disappearance also fits the pattern. These episodes often end abruptly, leaving you feeling disoriented and scared. But it's the details that stand out here. The specific description of the figure, the glowing eyes.
Yeah.
Those elements are what make it so unsettling and what make us wonder if it's more than just a random hallucination.
Well, it gets more interesting. Ethan finally decides to confide in his cabin mate, Kevin. And here's the thing. Kevin doesn't laugh it off or anything. He's actually relieved. He's been having similar experiences.
Now that's a turning point. Shared experiences can be very powerful, especially when it comes to paranormal phenomena. If one person is having these strange episodes, it could be explained away as an individual thing. But when multiple people start reporting similar occurrences, it raises the question of a shared external trigger.
It's like, okay, maybe we're not both crazy. And that's when they really start comparing notes,
Yeah.
right? They're trying to figure out if there's a pattern, if there's something connecting their experiences.
And that's a natural human instinct, to try and find patterns to make sense of the chaos.
Exactly. And they realize a few things. First, the episodes always seem to happen in the deepest hours of the night, like clockwork.
Like something is triggering them at a specific time.
Right. And then there are the figures themselves. The descriptions are remarkably consistent. Tall, slender, long limbs, big heads, glowing eyes. They both saw the same thing, or at least very similar things.
That consistency in the details is significant. It could suggest a shared external stimulus, or at least a powerful element of suggestion within the group.
But there's also this shared feeling of dread, of being watched. It's not just the visual hallucinations, but this pervasive sense of unease that hangs over them both.
Like something is aware of them, focusing on them.
Yeah, and things start escalating. The sleep paralysis gets more intense, more frequent. The figures seem bolder, their presence more real, almost palpable. Some of the other campers are even starting to avoid sleep out of fear. It's spreading.
That collective anxiety can create a feedback loop. The more people are afraid, the more likely they are to misinterpret normal occurrences as something sinister.
It's like their fear is becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then comes a really disturbing night for Ethan. He sees 3 figures around his bunk. 3 of them.
That's a significant escalation.
Right. They're all just staring at him. And this time, there's a physical consequence. He feels this sharp pain in his head. And later, he discovers a small, circular mark on his temple. It's like a little burn or something. And it's pulsing with this faint blue light.
Physical marks, that's something we don't often hear about with sleep paralysis.
Right. And here's the crazy part. Kevin has a similar mark on his arm.
That's very intriguing. While the headache could be attributed to stress or tension, these marks suggest something more. It's hard to explain them away as purely psychosomatic, especially given the context.
It's like, okay, this isn't just in our heads anymore. Something is happening. So Ethan and Kevin, they decide to take matters into their own hands. They grab their flashlights and sneak out of their cabin, following this faint trail of light into the woods.
That's a brave move. Most people would probably stay hidden under the covers.
Right. But I guess their curiosity, or maybe their fear, outweighs their caution. They end up in a clearing, and that's when they see it. Hovering silently above the trees, this massive triangular object.
The classic UFO sighting.
It was emitting this soft, pulsating glow. And there was this low hum, almost like a vibration in the air.
Again, very consistent with descriptions from other alleged UFO sightings, the triangular shape, the pulsating lights, the humming sound.
But then they see something else. Below the object, illuminated by a beam of light, are a small group of those figures, the same ones Ethan saw in his cabin. Tall, slender, glowing eyes. just standing there, seemingly interacting with this object.
So what they'd seen in their sleep paralysis episodes, now they're seeing it in reality.
Yeah, like their worst nightmares come to life. And you can imagine they're terrified. The figures turn toward them, start moving in their direction. The boys don't wait around to see what happens next. They run back to their cabin as fast as they can.
The flight response kicks in.
Totally. They spend the rest of the night huddled in their bunks, completely freaked out. The next morning, they try to tell camp counselors about what they saw.
And I bet I can guess what happened next.
Oh yeah, classic response. The counselors dismiss it as overactive imaginations. They tell the boys to stop spreading rumors and just enjoy the rest of their camp experience.
That's a common theme, sadly. Adults often struggle to believe children's accounts of unusual experiences, especially when those experiences challenge their own worldviews.
They're like, oh, kids telling scary stories, how cute. But for Ethan and Kevin, this is real.
It's a defining moment for them, a confirmation of something they can't explain but can't deny.
They leave Camp Pinecone with this understanding that they've encountered something truly extraordinary. The rest of the summer is spent in a state of apprehension, always looking over their shoulders, wondering if it's going to happen again. And Ethan, he never went back to camp.
So we're left with a lot of questions, right? Was it just sleep paralysis, or was it something more? Were those figures real, or were they hallucinations brought on by stress and a shared sense of fear? What about that triangular object? Was it a UFO?
I mean, there's no denying the consistency of the details, both in Ethan and Kevin's individual experiences and in how those details line up with other accounts we've heard over the years.
Exactly. This story touches on so many classic elements of paranormal narratives. Sleep paralysis, alien encounters, UFO sightings. It really makes you think about the nature of perception, the power of suggestion, and the possibility that there are things out there that we just don't understand yet.
What I find really fascinating is Ethan's journey.
Yeah.
He starts as this skeptical city kid, and by the end, he's convinced he's encountered something truly strange. And I think a lot of people listening can relate to that. We might start out skeptical, but then we have these experiences that challenge our beliefs, make us question what we thought we knew.
Absolutely. And those experiences, whether they're explained by science or remain unexplained, can have a profound impact on our lives, change how we view the world.
So let's talk about you for a second, listener.
Yeah.
What stood out to you in Ethan's story? What resonated with you? Did anything make you go, huh, that's interesting?
And here's a question for you to think about. Could seemingly isolated events like these actually be connected in some way? Maybe they're pieces of a larger puzzle, a bigger picture that we're only just starting to glimpse.
It's definitely something to ponder.
And keep an open mind.
Oh yeah, always keep an open mind. Thanks for joining us for this paranormal probe. Don't forget to rate and follow the True Alien Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. It helps us keep bringing you these amazing stories.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the unexplained.
See you then.